A very good evening to you, and I hope you're having a lovely Labor Day today. It's the 1st of May, and in Kenya, we are celebrating our Labor Day, and it's been such a wonderful day, personally for me. I hope you guys have enjoyed your day as well. Even if you aren't celebrating, I'm pretty sure you had a day off, and you've had some time to just sit back and relax and enjoy your day. So this evening, I want us to talk about something that's related to that on the Powertalk show. I am your host, as usual. My name is Cheryl Blessing. And I want us to talk about the creative industry and some of the laws that regulate the personnels in the industry. So that's the conversation we're having today, because we've been honoring our laborers for years and years and years. But the creative industry is something that's fairly new in our country, and we want to talk about some of the things that can be done to improve our industry today. That's the conversation I'm having on the Power Talk show this evening, and I'm joined by Tony Sungu, who goes by the artist name of Exile, and he's a musical artist. How are you doing, Tony?
I'm fine, thank you. Glad to be here, Cheryl.
It's such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to this conversation because it's something that I think is very necessary for us to talk about. There are so many regulations in place for different kinds of industries, and especially when we look at the corporate field, there are so many ways that we can regulate, and there's so many laws that have made the industry to become streamlined. But with the creative industry, this is something that's it's growing. We've just started probably acknowledging the seriousness of the creative industry in Kenya. And there's so many things that can be done to improve service delivery, can be done to improve the conditions of the people who actually are creating and distributing some of the content that we enjoy every day. So I want to engage with you this evening, and you can do that by going to our platforms at Y254. And we're streaming live on X, by the way. So go at Y254 on our platform on X and catch the live stream there. But I want to engage with you, and I want to find out from you what you think about the laws in Kenya and the creative industry in Kenya. So I want to know, what's the biggest struggle for the creatives in Kenya? What are the creatives currently in, when we look at 2025, we just started May, what is the biggest struggle for creatives in Kenya? In your opinion, based on maybe your experience, your understanding, your observations, I want to hear what you think about this conversation. Go on our platforms at Y254 across all socials, and be sure to send us your opinion. Send us even your location. Tell us where you're at, how your day has been, and we will sample your comments as we progress with the conversation. Now, to just kickstart, I introduced Tony as a musical artist. So I want to, perhaps you can paint a picture for us, Tony. How long have you been in the industry, and when did you start, and what inspired you to start music?
Well, to be honest, Cheryl, it's been a couple of years. To be exact, I think it's 14, close to the 15th year. I started doing music in high school. I used to love music so much, so the journey started there. So gradually, I was able to, like, just formulate it from high school up until now. So there's been a lot of growth, as in terms of the music output I used to bring back then and what I have now. So it's been a journey. It's been a journey, and we've actually seen, like, there's a lot that has changed in the music industry.
I like that. But unajua, I want us to get into the details. Before that, we're also expecting another guest who's just going to be joining us very shortly. So I'll introduce him when he's here. He does something in the creative industry, because I want us to get different perspectives. So you've said for a few years. Tebu tuambie, unajua kuna mtu alimaliza high school last year. So maybe anafikiria you finished in 2024. So could you tell us approximately how many years have you been producing and creating music?
Okay. Professionally, recording, I started in 2013. Yes. That was just like about 2-3 years after I finished high school. But I started writing my lyrics, my rhymes just in high school, let's say. But I started recording about in 2013, 2014.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's some time. So you've
yes,
been in the industry for a few years?
Yes, I've been in the industry for a few years. Yes.
And as you've said, there's something that you said. First, there's a change in your sound.
Yes.
But there's also a change in the industry.
Yes.
So before we tap into the industry as a whole, let's talk about your personal, your brand, the content that you put into your music. When you started out, what was your main motivation to start? Was it just because maybe the boys were hyped in class when you sang or something like that? So yeah.
Well, for me, what really inspired me is like I always wanted to have, you know, well, being actually talented in music, I always wanted to, you know, have a different, not just a lifestyle, but, you know, just do music as what I saw my, I'd say my idols do. And yeah, from there, just, you know, basically package it into my own kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And just give it out, because that is a talent that, you know, is God-given. So for me, it's all about just packaging it right and then releasing it, you know, not with the notion of me wanting to making it like tomorrow or something, but with the notion of, you know, just release good music and then it will always come back.
Yeah.
Yes, good music is timeless. That is what I usually believe in.
I like that. Yeah. First, I like the perspective of you're just doing you.
Yes.
Literally, ulianza tu na vibe yako.
True.
And the fact that you finished off with good music is timeless.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people who probably, when they got into the industry, you're dictated by what the audience wants to hear and what people are listening to, what's the mainstream vibe. Yeah. But sticking to your vibe, first knowing that this is my message, this is what I want to communicate, and then starting from there. I think that's a good point to start at, especially for like music.
Yes.
Now let me welcome our other guest. We have Daniel Kamau, who's just joined us, and he is a producer and a director. I believe you work with content creators.
Yes.
Welcome, Daniel. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah. Umesema had to beat allegations at Gen Z. you know those allegations of we are horrible at timekeeping and African timing.
Yeah.
But welcome. It's such a pleasure to have you on set.
Thank you.
And we've just started the conversation. Our conversation is on the creative industry, some of the reforms that we want to see or some of the changes that we've experienced. Yeah. So I want to hear from you because you've been directing for a few content creators. How long have you been doing that for?
Probably almost 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah.
Did it start as a passion project or did you know this is something that I really want to do as my career? How did you start the journey?
I started maybe like a job, but on the process, it's passion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's something I enjoy doing every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think that's also something that's different because most people start from I loved this and I was fascinated and then I started. So ulipata opportunity, ukaambiwa shika kamera.
Nilipata opportunity, nilimaliza shule, nikakaa nyumbani, nikapiga picha mtaani. Then nikapata kama kazi. So niliingia kwa hiyo industry kama kazi, but in the process unaenjoy kila siku working with different content creators.
Yeah.
Yeah, you learn more and
I like that.
It's passion.
Yeah,
nowadays.
And 3 years is also very recent.
Yeah.
So I think tunapata the two contrasts. So someone who's come into the industry a few years back and then kuna mwenye amekuwa kwa industry for some time. Yeah. So Tony, as you've talked about the changes, digital media helped a lot with the creative industry.
Big time. Yeah.
So personally, how do you feel like personally it helped you develop your career further?
Well, you know, I think we started music when we had to literally go through the channels. It's a tiresome kind of channel to literally get your music to be listened to in the media. You see, an era where you had to, you know, have your music in a WAV format. You take it to maybe, let's say, a radio station where you also have to kind of, you know, try and find your way through the producer's hearts, you know. And this is Kenya, so nothing is also free. So you also have to cough for something small. And at the end of the day, you're not also, you're also not, like, you don't know if the music will be played or not. You see, it's still a 50-50, and most of the time, well, some will get played, some will not, you know. So coming from that era where you even had to like bribe your way for your music to be played in the radio or in the TV station, to a time where you also have to, like, you know, go to MCSK register, so that whenever you produce your music, you have to take it there so that you can also get your music monetized. For you to be able to get like a pay from MCSK or the Prisk Performance Right Association of Kenya. So from shifting from all that to a digital era where we now have Instagram, we have TikTok, and all these things, they literally help push your music. We've got the streaming, the online streaming platforms, and right now artists are getting paid. You see, you don't really need to know an artist out there, but as long as they have got good quality music and the music is on the streaming platforms, they'll get paid. You see, at the end of the day, because it's as much as how much they share. So the more they share, the more they have listeners, and this converts to monthly listeners, and at the end of the day, it will convert to revenue. So right now, there's the issue of, you know, the gatekeeping. Right now, it's kind of, it's toned down a little bit.
So previously, you had to go through like a middleman.
Yes, previously it was stressful. That's why.
Nayo ni hectic. Nikimagine first nimeban CD yangu niende nitafute naingiaje hii station.
Unajua umeongelea kuban CD, bado hatujakufia kuban CD. There's the process of you as an artist. The thought process of coming up with the music. And then there's the process of recording the music. Which that ile part ya coming up with your lyrics is a free task. That is up to you. Recording the music is, unajua, ni pesa. Recording videos it's money. Hapo bado hujafika kwa kuban CDs. You still have to go to copyright to MCSK so that you can have your music copyrighted, so that no one can come and steal your idea. You see, all that is still money. So this final process of umeban kwa CD unapeleka, and you still don't know if it's going to get played or not. You see, but right now when young guys are making music, like even the urban tone right now, it's coming up, it's really popular. It's on these streaming platforms. So these guys get paid, even if you know them or not, they'll get paid. You see, it's different with way back when we used to take our CDs to the radio stations for it to be played for long, so that you can also try and get, you know, your vibe can also be known with the listeners. And then slowly, like, building that whole rapport. You see, akina, let's just say, for instance, the Octopizos and the Calligraphs, it took them that while. You see, they came to now start enjoying the streaming platforms when they came. But it has been a struggle. But right now, it's sort of better.
It is.
It is.
And you know, and one of the unfortunate things about the creative industry is you need to invest more at the start of your journey.
True.
It's not just as easy as you saying, I want to work in an office, and then you just walk in. You probably don't even need a laptop. Unaenda tu na notebook na kalamu.
Everything is provided.
But with the creative industry, be it music, content creation, because pia Daniel ulisema ulikuwa na kamera, ulikuwa napiga watu picha. Nitaka tu nijue first, hiyo kamera ulitoa wapi? Because looking at the prices of cameras today, you know, fortunately it's the digital era and we have DSLRs and all these things. But siku hizi utauziwa kamera kando, lens kando, sijui nini kando. You have to buy all these things. So how did you get your very first camera?
My very first camera nilipata nikiwa campus, nikiwa shule.
Ulibaiwa ama uligiftiwa? Unaweza kusema nilipata, labda sio kupita tu pale ukapatiwa. Utuambie kama ulipata pale, hebu tuende hiyo campus tutafute hata sisi.
Hapa nilikuwa nasomea journalism. So like nilimejaa sana kwa production. Wengine wakikuwa news reporter, Nilikuwa pale naona ninataka kuwa behind the scene. So first nilikuwa na haya nini ya beshte yangu. Beshte yangu alikuwa na kamera. Nilikuwa na haya naenda shoot on weekends. Then unakuja unampatia his share of the like si ujechukua tu ni beshte yako tu amekupatia. Unampatia 500 dhao, ina depend na ulikuwa ume earn ngapi uko saa like una figure out. So ile tu savings kidogo, then unaongelesha mzazi vizuri, unamwambia hii ni must tukue nayo shule. So mzazi naye akachangia half. So that's how I got my first camera. It was a bit expensive but worth it.
It was an investment.
Yeah.
And I think sasa unaona kama kuna industry na require passion ni the creative industry. Kama huna passion utachoka.
Nilikuwa naangalia nini like our friend here is a musician. Kuna musician fulani ni wa kitambo ni juni 5 years ago ndio unaonaga like he had a song 5 years ago. But hadi wa leo anatoa ngoma but hajafika ile place unaweza sema amefika. Unaweza mconsider like upcoming but ukisikiza ngoma zake ni kali but unapata ana struggle kupata hiyo nini. Ana struggle kupata hiyo breakthrough to his music ikue nini. So unakuta alikuwa anatoa ngoma kila siku kama venye content creator anaweza toa video every day. Unapata kwa YouTube channel yake akona ngoma na ukisikiza ngoma zote ni kali but kuna hiyo breakthrough bado hajapita.
Haijafika. And I like that you've brought that up because sasa kuna watu wanasema industry iko saturated. Kama ni content creators, kuna content creators karibu wa kila kitu. Lifestyle, cars, food, travel, nini wako. The same with the music industry. Be it any genre of music, hip hop, gospel, nini, tutasema bado iko saturated. So people assume because watu wengi wanafanya hii kitu, mimi siezi pata following. And I think also our mode of success is defined on the numbers that nimepata 1 million sasa ndo nimejulikana. So how do you combat that every day? Because ndo wingie studio uandike ndo uanze tu kuandika song, uconceptualize and then you go through with it, knowing that I'm probably going to be doing this for 10,000, 100,000 people. What keeps you going? What keeps you motivated to say wacha tu niamke niandike song yangu ni produce niweke out there?
When we started speaking, there's a time I told you music is good music is priceless and good music is timeless. Nikki make music. I don't make music with the notion that there's a certain trend that is rolling in town and I want to jump on that trend and I want to make it out of through that trend. You see, if you do that, then at the end of the day utachoka juu utakuwa weni umsewa trends. You saw what literally happened to Jimmy Gate. When Kenyans now were trolling him, he's the trend master kind of, because anything that happens he produces a song of that. And you find that you literally be hanging on a thread of like, now what happens if there are not trends that are happening around? You won't be able to produce music. So for me, when I get to the studio, again, it's not the notion of how many numbers can I get off this record, how many views or how many streams can I get off this record. It's me producing music first. It's what I love. So it's for what I love, it's timeless. For me, it's something that I will listen to and hope that someone else who listens to will relate to. But I don't record music with the notion of I'm doing it for a certain particular type of person or people, you see. That is what actually makes the difference for me.
And I think that's also your way of defining your own success. Because I think watu wengi wanatakanga your validation ya watu wameniona, people are talking about me. But the fact that you're saying that, we see that even with trends today. Kuna song yenye ilireleasiwa sijui what year, and then we're listening to it through TikTok. People remake it and all that. So you could have dropped something years back. I remember Will Smith was talking about this, the trend of TikTok, watu akidance dance ile song ya Anxiety.
Yes.
So he was making a joke that he did that dance back when he was doing Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Alafu years later,
the dance style is now trending.
Yeah. So as long as you're doing some quality work,
yes,
just put yourself out there. And now let me toss it over to Daniel, because hapo kwa the same line of the saturated industry, it's the same for the creators, videographers, photographers, producers, directors. Squeezy, mi naweza chukua kamera niseme mimi ni videographer, mi ni director. People come up every single day, and because they think niko na hii skill, mi nishafanya. So what sets you apart from everyone else who you feel like, yes, we might be 10 directors in one room, but what sets you apart from all of them?
Kwa hiyo part ya saturated tuko wengi. Unapata hata we mwenyewe unaweza jidirect. Kama we content creator unaweza jidirect, so inahitaji kuja ni kudirect. Unapata kuna cameras zimetokea kama like M50, just a small camera, but quality inatoa quality poa. So I think what sets me like out of 10 naweza chaguliwa like the best ni mambo na quality, what you deliver to the client ama to the content creator ambaye unamwakia. Ina depend na quality unampatia. So nikikuja like you have hired me to shoot a video, maybe a vlog, a podcast, I think the quality and how you deliver your work ina matter to the person. So nikikuletea good quality, the next time you have the podcast ama the vlog utaniita. So I think the quality pia like time pia ina matter. Niju to the content creators, time
is everything.
Niju lazima ukue kwa time. Akikwambia video yake inaingia 5 by 4:30 by maybe 3 akona hiyo video, so that anaweza stream kwa nini yake. So I think time, quality,
I like that. So lazima ukue na hizo qualities nye zina kuset apart. Ndio hata mtu akiwork na the first time, they'll say let's call Daniel again because he did such a good job. And I want to hear from you as we continue with this conversation. Go on our platforms at Y254. Utuambie, what do you think is the biggest challenge facing the creative industry today? What's the biggest struggle for the creatives in Kenya? What do you personally feel like creatives wanna struggle nayo ama they're going through a specific challenge? Let us know on our platforms at Y254 as we continue with the conversation. Now let me toss it over to unions, because unajua representation plays a major role. We've seen tangu tukwe like high school, primary, mimi nilikuwa na teachers wakistrike na walikuwa serious. You know, sijui TSC Kupet wako serious. So having the unions provide some sort of kuna ka security flani. Unajua hata mimi nikifinyiliwa kwa hii industry yangu, there is someone I can talk to. So in the music industry, you've had MCSK and Prisk. Ao sasa ndio wanafaa watete na ndio wanafaa walipe and AOBs. But based on the stories that we've had, I think so many of us, kuna time hata sijui ilikuwa ni calligraph ama ni Octopizo alikuwa anasema ametumiwa sijui 49 bob. You know. So I'm wondering, do you feel like these societies have been effective in taking care of your needs as musicians? Or what can they do better? Ama do we need to just disband our tutafute wengine?
Well, you see, these I don't know if I can say they're state-owned agencies, but they still answer to the state in some way. So one, like I think the people who've been commandeering these agencies from the top, there needs to be like a shift in change, because the way is it Rabbit who said it way before, when you walked into MCSK you wouldn't find a lot of vehicles in the parking lot, but now like everyone in the building is driving a vehicle. This is from siphoning of the funds from artists. You see, like for instance, if you say Sauti Sol are paid Amir, I don't know how much they were being paid, but it doesn't relate. It makes sense. No. For me, as an artist, okay, I don't term myself as an upcoming artist because I've been up and coming for the past 15 years. Yeah. So I just say I'm an artist. So for instance, my airplay and Sauti Sol's airplay is totally very different. You see?
Yeah.
Yes. And so for me to receive the same amount of money from Prisk as them,
yeah,
is ish. Tells you that there's a lot of things that in the running of the agencies that are not straightforward. You see, like they take a bare minimum and put it together and split it, you know, across the entire board for artists, which doesn't really reflect what is being done on the ground.
Yeah.
So as I said, since the streaming platforms came in, a lot of artists have, you know, diverged the energies from Prisk and MCSK to, you know, international royalty collectors, you know, international streaming platforms, like the publishers, like there are those that use like 1 RPM. These are international publishers who actually publish the songs in a variety of countries. So it's easier for you to get paid through the streaming platforms, as long as you share them, you see. So I think there's been a dynamic shift, because I think the last time I took my song to MCSK or Prisk, that was maybe in 2012 or something.
Hey.
Yes.
That's been years.
It's been years. Yeah. And even for my album that is coming up that I'm prepping for, I'll just use an international publisher as compared to our yes, our local.
So there's definitely a need for change.
Yeah, there's totally a need for change. And the change, as I said, you know, like they say, the fish starts to rot from the head, from the top. So if change needs to be there, it needs to start from the top.
And overhaul.
Yes, and overhaul, so that, you know, just different policies are put in place to have things running.
I like that. So I want us to talk about that a bit more, and also focus on the creative side, where we've come up. There's a kind of union that has been set up since last year. I want us to talk about also the legal laws and implications of some of the things that have happened in the industry. And I want to take a short break before we get to that. Meanwhile, tukienda on a break, I want you to talk to me. I want you to let me know what you think is the biggest struggle for the creatives in Kenya today, because there's so many things that we're getting into. And before we dive into that, tell us what you think is the biggest struggle that the creatives in Kenya are dealing with, or something like that. So let's take a very short break, but stay tuned to Y254.